Okay.
Preparing to live stream the meeting.
And it's just gonna, and I'm just gonna transfer everything over. I'm gonna transfer already. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna transfer everything that we have here. I'm gonna be like, what's up, everybody?
Yeah.
We're in a different link now.
Okay.
So I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link here. Okay, so I'm like really boomer. Everything that I learned how to do.
I can tell you're very boomer through this.
Yeah,
oh wait, it's working.
Everything I learned how to do online like took me forever to learn. That's why I know myself, and I know that like if I try to learn something new, like it's gonna be in like baby words. So
I think it's working now.
Yeah.
Let me watch our own stream.
Okay. And you, it works?
Yeah, I think it works.
Nice.
Nice.
I don't see myself though, I will say. Oh wait, no, I see myself now. Okay, I think we're just on a really big delay. I think it's fine though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say it's like a 8 to 10 second delay.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, not nice, but nice that you can see yourself.
That could be good, just in case an accident happened.
Yeah, like then we can just bleep it out. Kidding, I don't know how to do that, so.
Yeah.
So
okay, I think it works because one of my viewers is in your stream for sure, and he says, "Here we go again." That's him.
Here we go again.
Okay. And so I'm gonna go in that old link, and I'm gonna share the new link in the old link.
Hail to the to the boomer.
We're
Yeah, hello everyone, especially everyone who recognizes who I am.
Okay, what's up, what's up, what's up? Okay, I'm just sharing everything, so everybody please be patient and don't yell at me for being a boomer because I just need to share everything. And I'm just sharing the new link on the old page. So
what is your Twitter, by the way? I did not know. I don't remember you having so many followers.
On Twitter?
Oh, I found you. Don't worry.
It's at Pardes, and alrighty, and I'm just gonna share on Twitter that we are live. What's up, everybody? How is it going? Okay.
Hello. Hi, everyone who knows me. The old link is gimped, though. I had to click a new link. Yeah, I think that's how. I think that's correct.
Use this link. Old link doesn't work. Okay. And then I'm just gonna stick like a little thumbnail in there.
Heck yeah.
This is a new one, right? Yeah, I'm gonna stick a little thumbnail in there and alrighty.
Alrighty.
Anybody have any questions?
What's up, boys
before
and
we
girls?
officially begin, even though we did officially begin, but.
Razael and Wished, by the way, are definitely both people who know me in the chat.
From your Twitch. So what's your deal, Emily? Why don't you like YouTube?
Why don't I? Because I feel like, okay, like the YouTube algorithm for discovering streamers is really bad. Even worse than Twitch, which is also really bad. I think that's why I don't stream on YouTube. But like, if you are a famous YouTuber, you should stream on YouTube. That's how I think it works.
The algorithm hurts people who aren't big.
Oh, sorry, I'm on a podcast. I'll be quiet. Okay, sorry. My roommate's doing a quiz.
Yeah. No, I've heard that that's because they don't want to compete with Twitch. So like, unless it's like someone really big, they actually the algorithm does work to kind of push you down in the.
I will say no. I feel like YouTube is trying to compete with Twitch, and I think the reason for that is that like you do realize that YouTube is buying out Twitch streamers. So streamers on Twitch, they have exclusivity on Twitch, which means they aren't allowed to stream on other platforms, and YouTube is offering like millions of dollars to big Twitch streamers so they can move to YouTube. So I would say that I think YouTube is hoping to one day compete with Twitch.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. But one of my friends was saying it's something with the algorithm. So I don't. Yeah, I'll have to look into it.
I think the YouTube algorithm sucks, but the Twitch algorithm sucks too. So I don't know. I think YouTube has the funds though to make YouTube streaming good. I think that they will manage to do it eventually.
Yeah, just kind of go. Sure, yeah, I understand.
Yeah. What do you usually talk about on your live stream?
So sorry, I was a little quiet, just sharing links.
By the way, I saw your video. I watched your video about how to find love during quarantine.
Oh, nice. How'd you like it?
It was really wholesome because like I also totally remember Rick and I being single on my live stream, and like we literally would just talk every day about we were both single. And then one day Rick was like, "Hey, I'm not single anymore." And I was like, "What do you mean?"
First I was like, "I'm going to Texas," and then you were like,
"Oh, I judged you so hard."
Yeah, but like,
I was like, "What?" We actually coined a term. Okay, so wait, I'm not allowed to like swear, right? Or say, am I?
Swear, I think.
I mean, the only thing is that I'll get demonetized if the algorithm picks it up. So just
okay, so
try to do it in a way that doesn't.
Oh, okay, so I'll just say that does Rick know what term I'm thinking about? Like some blink C quest. Rick, do you remember? We coined a term.
Yeah.
It's something referring to the genitalia C quest. So we coined a term for when you travel long distances for the purpose of getting with someone. And we coined it in honor of Rick going to see you.
Yeah.
I'm the Pardes quest. Yes. I know the P word was Pardes. That sounded really cool.
Dennis Prager calls you all P words.
Yeah, I was not expecting that to happen. I thought Rick would totally be like,
I didn't know either.
I was like totally expecting you to be like, yeah, like, I don't know. I talked to my parents and they were like, I don't know if this is a good idea.
What?
But I didn't know you so well. So I was surprised, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, okay. So we're going to Texas together. And every day was just kind of like a surprise. And I think part of it was COVID, like, cause just so many things went wrong that you're just not expecting anything anymore. You're just like, okay, whatever. Like, everything has not gone right anyway, so
relatable.
Yeah.
I'm still in that process of things not going right.
Well, we're excited for you to join us on the other side.
True, not yet though. I'm very single.
So I'm just gonna introduce you to everybody in the live stream that doesn't know you.
Okay, great.
AKA, I don't know who doesn't know you, but
all the fun people.
Just in case, well, I don't know. Maybe they follow.
That's true.
Maybe they follow her.
Maybe they follow gamers.
Okay, so this is Emily. Emily's known as VolcanoGirlGames on Twitch. VolcanoGirlGames on Twitch, and Emily makes her own games, which is very unique because most gamers I know of don't make their own games. They're playing like Fortnite or whatever. I don't know.
That's true. I'm e-girl, but elevated.
Yeah. And,
ascended.
So how did you start making games? Like,
well, I feel like it all honestly started with content creation itself, because when I'm growing up as a 13-year-old and the only game I know is CSGO and none of my female friends are playing it, it doesn't particularly foster an environment where I think I'm going to be the person who creates CSGO next. So what happened was that I was going into my first year in high school, and I stumbled upon this PewDiePie video where he played The Last of Us. And so in my very bored state of mind, I clicked on it and let me like, it's a 20-hour series where he plays the entirety of The Last of Us. And so I watched it, and then my entire brain was like gaming can also be storytelling and narrative, and it can be something that feels accessible to me as well. And so as I went through my high school journey, first wanting to be the lawyer and scientist that my parents wanted to be, to realizing I had a really big passion for storytelling and specifically the merging of storytelling and technology, I thought to myself, like maybe video games, like maybe that's a thing I could be into. But then approaching college, realizing that there was a huge community of gamers that I really enjoyed talking to through Twitch, and then finally culminating through joining the game development club at UCLA and just realizing that it was the space for me. And, I feel like all of the officers and I are really good friends, and they all say that, like, dude, you just came out of nowhere. Like, I'll admit it's not a very female-centric club. I was the only girl who ever applied to be a team lead, even in the past many years. But I think by just realizing that I have a passion and maybe I'm not the most technically fluent, I can't program and I'm not that great at Unity, but just being so sure that this is the space that I want to be in, I think just really cemented that I love making games. So now I make games for game jams, which are basically hackathons. I work at a video game company, and I'm currently trying to transition, hopefully one day, to a AAA studio.
That's really cool. What's a AAA studio? I mean, it sounds really cool. That's really cool. Everything up until then. Also, what's a AAA studio?
AAA studio is any game studio that's huge. So, for example, I just interviewed with Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a AAA studio. Any game studio that's big. So CSGO, League of Legends, Riot, those games are all made by AAA studios. An indie game would be, for example, Among Us. That's a game that was an indie game. Now it's huge, but
like 20th Century Fox, Disney for movies. AAA is like that, but for video games.
Yeah.
So EA, they're
Valve,
big one. Valve, yeah.
Blizzard.
Okay. Oh, cool. So that's that's how you know that you made it. Is you made it into the AAA studio.
Well, I also say a lot of game developers can definitely thrive in indie places too. But I think currently where I am right now, I want to transition to a bigger studio and then maybe move to indie later in my career. Because I think that ultimately I want to make indie games, but being in a AAA studio is the ultimate exposure to contacts, a lot of money, and a really bustling creative environment.
And you learn a lot. I think it's kind of like working at a big law firm. They basically compress you into a diamond because of all the work pressure and crunch time and all that. You're working 80-hour weeks. I mean, you learn a lot from what I've heard.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
fingers crossed, Call of Duty.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I'm sure the culture is a lot more high pressure, and you have to kind of I'm sure the culture is a lot more high pressure. You can't come in with your own ideas. I don't know. I just know that's how it is as a media person. I'm assuming that's how it is over there. You can't come in with your own grand ideas. You have to sit at the bottom, at the bottom of the table and listen to whatever the big people have to say. And
definitely.
Yeah.
You know how in films, I can be a nobody, right? But I can write this amazing script, and if I get to talk to the right people, I can pitch it to someone. Right. That doesn't work in gaming. It's you're at the bottom of the totem pole, and all of the creative decisions are made by people who are 20 years in the industry. Never will I really have a chance to pitch my game to EA and have them fund it. So it's very similar to media, I would say, in that aspect. I work in a little bit of media too. I write for a magazine, and like I understand like my creative vision is
Grumpy
not,
Magazine.
Yeah. Mhm.
Grumpy Magazine. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I'm just saying like I relate to what you're talking about.
What do you write about for them?
Oh, I interview really famous artists and celebrities. So I've interviewed I just interviewed Thomas Brody Sangster, who's in The Queen's Gambit, Star Wars, Love Actually, Phineas and Ferb. I've interviewed Jack Falahy, who was in How to Get Away with Murder. I've interviewed the Tall Girl and Tall Girl, Ava Michelle. I've interviewed like Bishop Briggs, who has that song River, Max, Chelsea from That's So Raven. I interview a bunch of like actors and celebrities for it.
I remember Chelsea from That's So Raven. That's so funny.
That is funny. Yeah.
Wow.
What's she up to these days?
Oh, I interviewed her because Disney actually did a spin-off series of That's So Raven. It's like Raven's home, and now Raven and Chelsea are parents.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I interviewed for the release of that.
I heard Eddie is a little bit messed up. Is he in that?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw an interview with him from like 2016, and he was clearly like on something.
That's not good.
Yeah, he was like literally speaking gibberish to the guy. Anyway, you guys, yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's what happens with child actors, I guess.
Unless their families are like also in the industry. And
yeah.
They're kind of like integrated and like they already know how to deal with it.
Like Carrie Fisher, although she had problems too.
Well, Zendaya's thriving.
Are her parents in the industry or?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about her parents.
She seems like she's got
Emma Roberts. Emma
Roberts, but I don't know. We were reading about some stuff that happened to her a few years ago, and that seemed a little bit.
Wait, what happened to her?
Well, they like broke up a fight between her.
Yeah, I think there's like a domestic violence thing with Emma Roberts.
Yeah, and supposedly like the guy didn't have any, or the guy had a bunch of bruises and cuts and scrapes, and she didn't.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, like she like messed this guy up, and he like somehow kept her away from without like hurting her.
I love Emma Roberts.
She's really fun. Okay, there was this movie we just saw. It was called Little Italy, and it's like
the dumbest movie ever.
It was so weird. It was a B movie, and it was with her and Hayden Christensen and the dad from Moonstruck. So it was like the guy who played Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars and Emma Roberts, and it was just a random movie about Italians in Canada.
Was it good?
It was kind of dumb.
It was really dumb. Yeah, it was very cheesy and
it was like a cheesy love story. It was like kind of feel good sort of thing, but it didn't have a lot of direction, I think.
Yeah, there was no like real plot line. It was like, oh, it was supposed to be kind of like a West Side Story theme.
Yeah.
Like with Italians.
Like the parents are feuding and they grow up like with these parents who are feuding, and then she like falls in love with him or whatever, even though their parents hate each other. It was that kind of a whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. But the only reason I watched it was because Emma Roberts was in it, and I love her so much, and I'd watch any movie that has her in it.
It wasn't like a waste of time to watch it though. It was kind of funny.
And he
has a fake Italian accent too, which I just could not like. It totally broke the fourth wall for me because it's like, what do you? I know how you talk, Hayden. What are you doing, Hayden? Anyway.
So I have a question. What kind of movies do you make? First of all,
wait, are you talking about games?
I mean games. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
Wine.
I am not the most technically fluent, as I said previously. I have really rudimentary knowledge in Unity and Unreal, which are both game engines. So as for where I think my skills or what the positions I'm looking for, specifically writing and narrative design, writing as in like everything, like the dialogue. When you pick up an item and there's some text associated with it, that's what I do. Narrative design is about how story and mechanics are combined. So a really good example of this is, I always like to talk about this. In The Last of Us, the game has to teach you how to shoot, right? Like it tells you what buttons to press to shoot. But what a narrative designer did was think, okay, how can I make this so much more gripping? And so how The Last of Us teaches you how to shoot is so The Last of Us is a game about where zombies take over the world, and you're traversing through this like narrow hallway, this like black dark room, and you see this guy whose mask is broken, and he says, oh, my mask, like my mask broke. And like in this world, if you breathe in the same air as these zombies, you become one. And so you have you as the character then have to basically kill him. And that's the moment that the game teaches you how to shoot. So those like little like nuances are all things that narrative designers do.
Okay. So
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm like, I don't know. I've like never played a video game, like ever.
Ever?
My cousin tried to teach me how to play Fortnite, and I have it on my computer, and I just never got into it. And so if you had to explain to like a grandma, because that's my level of understanding of like some games, like what does first of all, how many games have you what's your sorry, your favorite game or the most recent thing that you've been working on, like what is the goal of the what's the objective?
Okay, so I actually am currently a writer for a mobile gaming company that's aimed at young women. One of the few companies that make games aimed at young women, literally. And so for my job right now, I write guilty pleasure reading for young women. And so I write like really dreamy, like romance, like romantic interests. And then I try to make players so invested in the story that they will want to pick monetizable choices. So certain games, like games where you just buy the game and you have it in full, like The Last of Us, their goal is to create choices that you hate making. Choices where you're like, oh my God, I wish the game didn't make me choose. But for the company that I'm working on, I am trying to make choices where they really want to choose it, so much so that they will pay for the choice. So how my company makes games is they play through a story. They can play through it for free if they want, but if they want a better experience, a better ending, maybe like, a spicier love story, they have to pay for certain options. And so I write stories for that. I also manage a community of 200 writers, and I make sure that they're on track for their writing. I host contests for them. I communicate with them about new features in the app. That's what I'm doing. What I hope to be doing one day is to transition into a huge studio and be working on one big creative project for like 3 years before it comes out.
Nice. Okay. That's cool. Everyone in the chat is saying that Among Us people are talking about Among Us. So
they said Pardes would be an interesting crew member on Among Us.
What's Among Us?
So do you know like Mafia, Secret Hitler, those like deception games, Coup?
Oh, I love Secret Hitler.
Yeah, so Among Us is like a deception game, but in a video game form.
Okay.
And it's basically like the indie game like dream, because 2 guys made it.
I'm really good at deception games because people think I'm like so honest. And so
then you would really like Among Us then.
Yeah. They're just like, oh, like I can totally like win against Pardes because I'll just be able to see that she's lying all over her face.
We should play philosophy club games with Pardes.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We should invite Pardes to them. That'd be nice.
Yeah, if they're at a time that's not.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Among Us, I think is like the perfect example that like you don't need to be in triple A studios to be successful, because 2 random guys made it, and then 3 years later, now they're literally millionaires because of that one game they made 3 years ago that no one played, but now everyone's playing right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's like so cool.
Doug says microtransactions rule the market, and then says
microtransactions are very, very big in mobile gaming, and right now I work in mobile gaming.
I think it's the only way to make money in mobile gaming.
I would actually agree with that.
I
What's
mean,
a microtransaction?
basically when you, like she was saying, when you pay money to get like a different feature, to get a different outfit for your character, to get like a different ending for your game, like any one of those little, like it's usually $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 payments that you make.
Yeah.
These little things, that's a microtransaction.
So when I play like Bubble Burst on my phone,
yes,
Yes.
it says like get like, I don't know, 3 more
lives, or
Yep, that's it.
get like, you know, this new equipment, or skip this level for like $1.
Okay.
That's a microtransaction.
That's a microtransaction. Yes.
Okay, cool. Whoa, it's like there's so much. So I do play games. I just didn't
No, you
realize.
do.
I play like
Yeah.
I play Sudoku, right? That's like also counted, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
I play what else do I play? I play like
solitaire.
I play solitaire.
No, I did too for a while.
50% of gamers are women, but I will say like they just play really different games than what men
That's
play.
just it.
Yeah.
I did see it was like the mobile market is dominated by women, and apparently Connect 3 is a genre. So like Bejeweled or like whatever, that's like a genre of games, and it's like 95% women.
Yeah.
At least in terms of screen time. I don't know about like total numbers. But
what is it about? Why are women like? What is it about women and men that is it just the way our minds work?
I mean, I could provide some insight
ahead.
to that. Is it like, okay, so I play a lot of games that are dominated by men. I'll just say that. Like one of my favorite games I played was Dota. And in my entire time of playing Dota, I did not meet a single girl who played Dota. That is how male dominated Dota is, right? And being in those spaces where you play games that are dominated by men, like women are not treated the greatest. Like there is a discrepancy of women playing games on Twitch and a man playing games on Twitch. Like when I play those games, like, and they hear my female voice, they'll automatically start saying things to me. They'll make sexual comments about me. They'll try to find out what I look like. And I think that's honestly like a big reason why like women don't play these games, because it's not particularly a welcoming community. None of their male friends are like, yeah, like play CSGO with us. Like, well, it has to be something you seek out.
It's self-perpetuating because there's like, I'm sure like a lot of these guys, because there's no women, they don't see a lot of women. And is a woman, they're just like psyching themselves out like, oh my gosh, like boobs. And like they'll just they'll just push you away.
Yeah.
And it's like a self-fulfilling. Yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah. Like I think that's also why women don't make video games. Oh, I could go on for this forever.
It's like old school office culture, like in
video game, like sure, like video games, like FPS games and MOBAs may not be the most friendly towards women, but I could see, you know, like a lot of girls play it, like it's fine. Making video games is such a different story. Like making video games, they hate women, I would argue. Like there's
one of those things where it's like it's probably not just like 85-90% male. It's probably like 95-97% male, especially on like the coding side and stuff, where like literally having a single girl in there is like culture shock a little bit for these guys.
And like I will say, like one of the biggest issues with the gaming industry is that sexual assault is like so rampant in the gaming industry, but the people in the gaming industry don't do anything to take care of it.
So I'm sure you get a lot of guys who are like, who see your streams like on Twitch, and you got a lot of subs. You got like over, I think it was like 4,200 subs on Twitch, and I'm sure you get a lot of guys, because I hear it in politics, and that's, I mean, there are a lot more women in politics, but like I hear it there, and they're like, oh, like people are only watching your games because you're
okay, literally I have such a rebuttal for this. Sorry. Continue, and then I have my rebuttal.
No, and it's like some of the people saying that like their own shit sucks, And they'll just totally blame it on like, oh, well, you're a girl. If I had boobs, I would get everybody at my stream. Well, then go get a boob transplant. I don't know, dude. Like,
no, okay, so there was actually a study done about women on Twitch and whether or not do they really have it easier. Okay, so this is why I can refute this so perfectly, right? They, you know, those like big like word graphs where it's like the most let's say they do like a word graph of like the words used most in Harry Potter. The word wizard would probably be huge, right? And like, you know, that's like how often a word is used, the bigger it is. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look at that for guys, it's like, you know, a good shot or, you know, words that have to do with gaming. But then if you look at it for women, it's like inappropriate words. I'll just say that. I won't get you demonetized, but it's very inappropriate words. And the thing is, women, so on Twitch, followers doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is viewer count, okay? And so women are more likely to get people to click on their stream. They're more likely to get followers. But when it comes to retaining viewer count, which is the only number that matters on Twitch, they are leagues behind men in retaining viewer count. So the thing that women have it easier on Twitch is false on every level. It is way easier for men to retain viewers, and they also don't get treated like crap.
Okay.
But they just have this mindset. They think, oh, there's a pretty girl who has a bunch of viewers. Like, you know, she has it easy, but it's not like that.
And I'm sure it also kind of makes you want to like not get dressed up for your live streams, like subconsciously you're like, oh, like I shouldn't wear makeup today, or I mean you look like you never wear makeup anyway, but like I mean you're like natural, but I'm sure you're just like, oh, like I'm gonna just dress down as much as possible today because I don't want anyone thinking that like they're
I don't think Emily does that, but
you probably, but like I mean I know girls do this.
I know what you're talking about, yeah, because like there's also like it's more than just like guys making sexual comments at me. I think a lot of guys who watch my stream, maybe not the regulars, because the regulars know I don't take anything. They watch my stream and they're like, I know this girl, like I can date this girl. Like realistically, this girl's gonna date me. And so they'll write all of these comments being like, hey, I'm in LA next week. Like, will you go out with me? And then I'll be like, what are you talking about? I don't even know who you are. And then they'll get legitimately pissed at you. And then they'll be like, well, I thought you were ugly in the first place. Like, I wouldn't even go out with you anyways. And I think that type of like culture sometimes can breed women to want to dress down so they will like receive that male attention even less.
Yeah, but it does the opposite. I mean, it's funny that you talk about that because I was complaining about that to you yesterday or this morning?
I think so.
It is this morning, right? I think.
Yeah.
It was like, so I was literally complaining about this one thing. Like and I know so many like really hot women in like media, for example, and like this one chick will have like 1 million guys trying to sleep with her. And like this like random like kind
slob.
Random slob comes along and is like
entitled,
come see with me, and like she'll be like I don't know, like she'll either like be like, yeah, like I have a boyfriend or like whatever, I'm not interested, sorry, whatever, and the guy will flip out and be like, how dare you, my ego. And it's like, no, like don't act like you were entitled to this. Don't act like you even had a chance or you even thought you had a chance or she gave you any like this person is like leagues above you, and the fact that you're getting upset and butthurt over it is a sign of insane arrogance.
I will say though, there are a lot of girls who will put out signals and then it's like, hee hee.
Well, honestly, like so I can talk.
Like I know exactly what you're talking about, and I do agree that that's a problem.
And they'll get mad as if they had a chance in the first place. It's like this guy who looks.
But
like
I think there are some girls that like wittingly or unwittingly give the guy false hope.
And then when you dress down,
leave the guy on.
When you dress down, they start to act like, oh, well, I could have totally gotten with her. Look, she's like totally low key. Like, I could have totally gotten with that. It's like, oh, she's dressing down around you because she doesn't want you to think that you in any way are like into her.
Yeah, right.
About the women who lead the men on, how I see it, like speaking, like Rosen, who's in chat, can like back me up on this. I feel like a lot of these women are just just way too polite. Like they feel bad about shutting them down because like the thing is, like, as someone who I do not care. Okay, like I make fun of you for hitting on me.
Yeah.
But like they get mad. Like they get mad. They attack you. They'll like on my stream, I once had a guy, like a close viewer. Like I actually talked to him a lot. He told me he liked me. I said, no, never in a million years. And then he DM'd all of my regular viewers, being like, Emily's this, Emily's like da 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 da. So I think a lot of women just try to be they fall in a trap where they're too polite to these like simp men. But it's just a bad cycle. Like the simp men don't react well when they're rejected.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Wish says, oh, so you're saying I can't get every streamer I spam? What's that?
Rosen's making a joke. I know Rosen.
Oh, that's Rosen. Okay, Wish is Rosen. What's
up,
Rosen?
Yeah, because Rosen, we are actually talking about this today about a streamer who is way too nice to her male viewers, and Rosen was like, dude, like she needs to man up, like she needs to tell him to go away.
Was this the one you showed me that one time? Huh? Was this the girl that you showed me the one time? The Asian
I don't think
girl?
so. This is like a newer girl. Like I don't know this girl very well. He just mods for her, and so
that's like so true though. It is really like when you think you're being nice. But honestly, the times you're disappearing, babe.
The thing is, I think for me, like when I was in high school, and I think a lot of guys are developmentally at the same level, is like if you don't get a firm no, then that's like a maybe. So like if I keep trying, then maybe. And sometimes they'll even say something like that, and it's like, well. You just need to nip it in the bud, man.
No, I agree.
Like part of growing up as a woman is learning how to be, and not to fight or be like nasty, but learning how to be like, learning how to be like firm and nice.
And part of being a man is being rejected, like in the most humiliating or like whatever way possible. And like the fact of the matter is, that like it's just a girl and she's just rejecting you, and there's
a million girls
there's
out there.
Literally like 4 billion other women out there, so like it's fine.
And literally if you go to like some parts of the world, women will go after you. Like if you're American, like you could literally go to like some random country and get like a hot who will just be like, please give me my green card.
Oh my god.
You don't need anything. You can be like a total gross slob. Like just be an American or something.
Sorry to those of you who were not born in a Western country.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of non-Americans here.
I feel like the same thing is true of Canadians or British or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Australians, New Zealand,
any Western country.
Yeah, like even like Japanese, South Korean.
Yeah. Any like developed, any semi-developed country. Yeah. Even like China. I mean, I know like we don't think of China as like more.
China's like in the middle.
In the middle, I agree.
But I know people, like I personally know people from Africa who see China as like,
yeah,
that's where I want to be.
Really?
People in Africa move to China for jobs.
Yeah.
Like the Chinese government doesn't really like it because they have a billion other people that they need to keep employed, but like they'll do it and they'll put up with like the racism and everything just because it's like so much better than living in Africa.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, it's pretty rough if you're black in China. But
yeah, they don't care. They're like, as long as
there's no concept of political correctness there, I don't think.
We have our Brit Bong here also.
Brit Bong.
Henry should go out with Emily. If Emily, I mean, Emily's probably taken already.
No, we just had a chat about how I'm single.
I know,
All
but
right.
you're probably okay. So you
You're
should go
probably
out with
too
our
old.
friend.
But it's fine because he's.
Oh, she's too old.
It's not legal in this country. It is legal in his country.
Wait, is he under 18? I'm no.
China is very polluted.
I am very confused about Henry's age, so don't listen to anything I say.
Still, American dudes who do that overseas, wash your junk because you give us all a bad name. Doug is correct on this issue.
American.
Canadian flag pins or badges
Doug is
on
a
a
gentleman.
backpack. Yeah, Doug is a
Oh
gentleman.
yeah, Rosen is from Canada. FYI, wished.
Yeah, I think that Canadian flag pins is like you get all the perks of being American without any of the negatives.
People love Canadians.
Yeah, it's like you get all the perks of being American without having any of the negative stigma.
That's so true.
that
I
don't
agree.
like America.
This popcorn touched Rick's sock, and I'm gonna eat it.
Ew. Ew.
I feel so edgy.
This always happens every time. Every time.
Every effing time, but YouTube censored when you said the F word. Watch
Not nice, son.
your potty mouth, Henry.
We have a British adopted son. Do you know that, Emily?
Who? Who is it?
His name is Henry.
Oh, Henry in chat.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of what led you to, like, video games in general, like, what sort of, when you look for a video game, like, what do you look for?
Like, okay, I would definitely separate my video game consumption into two categories.
Yeah.
One of them is like fun with friends, right? And that's like where I played Fortnite. That's where I play Dota 2. That's where I play Minecraft. All of those things. Cause like being friends with gamers, you obviously want to like have fun with your gamer friends. And then I think that like the other side of gaming for me, which is like the games that I feel are most special to me, are like the games that I consider literal art pieces, which is like The Last of Us is a huge one, The Walking Dead, Night in the Woods, Missed Messages. Pardes, I know you don't know what any of that means.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Like games where they just feel like this like monumental experience. Games that move you, that make you want to learn more, that like legitimately are just pieces of art. Like I know that you probably like
BioShock.
don't. Yeah, like BioShock, exactly, perfect. And so I feel like those games are the games that I want to make. But in terms of games that I just play casually, I play like the whole like Minecraft, Fortnite, whatever.
It's kind of like, I think TV or movies or whatever, like you have something like that you want to watch highbrow, like
exactly.
Sunshine or something, and then you have like, you know, okay, I just want something easy to watch, like while I fall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Henry wants to come on the Zoom interview because Henry would love to be set up with I'm making this up. He didn't actually say this, but he wants to be set up with Emily.
You're doxing our son.
But he did say that he wants to be on the Zoom. But anyway, Henry, you have to wait a little bit because we still have a few things we want to ask from our gamer girl.
Gamer girl. So like, there was someone in the chat brought it up, and I'm not going to pretend to remember exactly the way he worded it. But
Okay.
the gist of it was like, you know, do you see it as like a possibility to like create your own niche and to sort of be that sort of female pioneer that kind of like breaks in? Because I feel like once it gets to a certain critical mass, like in office culture, when it was like 1 or 2% female, yeah, like men were still going to act the same way. But like once it gets to like 10, 15, 20, 25%, you can't just keep acting the same way that you had been when you were 100%. Does that make sense?
Can you explain that again?
Just in terms of like the way that it is right now, like a lot of things that you pointed out, being a female, like game dev. So do you think that that's going to get easier as like say it's 5% female right
Yeah.
now,
Okay. I know what you
it
mean.
goes up over time. Do you think that we're that it's getting to that point anytime soon, or?
Well, I was talking to my friend, so in my game dev club, we have a lot of men in it. And we always talk about having more women in the club.
Mhm.
And I think the big reason that I am I honestly, I feel like I'm the female voice in the club, right? And I think it's because in order to be so bold in the gaming industry, as in apply to be a team lead, be an officer, lead teams, you have to work with a lot of guys. And because game dev is a more introverted hobby, a lot of girls in there are really soft spoken, and they're honestly pretty freaking scared to just present in front of a bunch of dudes and be like, I want to make this game. You're going to get on my team and you're going to do what I say. That's what I do, as the lead, right? I make games where a bunch of guys come under my team and I go, you do this, you do this, you do this. Okay, now work for the next 2 hours and then check up on it, right? And so I think the reason I'm able to succeed in the club is because I kind of have that really go-getter energy. And so how I think that the gaming industry is going to evolve is that people like me who are so sure that they want to enter this tech field, who are the pioneers of female representation in games, are going to rise up. And then when they're going to make stories where you can tell a female wrote it, right? Maybe it's a story about a bunch of guys, but you can at least acknowledge that there's a female presence in the development team. Then girls are going to see that. And I think it's just going to be cyclical, slowly moving in the right direction. Just because now I know that as a woman who makes games, you have to be very bold and very sure that this is what you want to do. Otherwise, you will get absolutely swallowed by all of the guys who, are trying to overpower you, are fighting for the same positions, and ultimately don't see you as competition. Also, someone donated to your stream.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Yeah, that's Joe. Joe is actually
Joe's one of your big guys.
Yeah, he's pretty involved. Joe, when I Joe's I mean, it's been years, I feel since I've known Joe.
Joe, Doug, there's a couple regulars that come back every episode, it seems like.
Yeah, and also I also talk know them in person.
Yeah.
And that's what Joe, for example. I talk to Joe regularly, and I feel it's so different. It's you feel on YouTube, this is so not even related, but on YouTube, I feel the reason why I'm on here, by the way, is I feel there's a group of people that I know. I don't have that on Twitter as much. So
yeah,
in case
no, that's and what you're pointing out, I mean, I'm not going to speak for you because somebody's asking about it, but it doesn't seem like what you're talking about is the same kind of thing that Anita Sarkeesian was saying about how the fact that the camera is kind of pointing towards the character's butt is sexist kind of thing. Right?
Okay, I know very briefly, I know somewhat Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn's story, but I would not consider myself fluent enough where I can give a hot take about it.
Yeah.
I just know that very controversial figures in the gaming industry. And I know that Anita Sarkeesian made that series about women in gaming. That's really all I know about them.
Yeah, she
but people seem to not like her because
I know a fair bit about it, so I'm kind of I have a very formed opinion about it, but what's your take on it?
I don't have a formed.
Does Pardes know about Anita Sarkeesian?
We talked about games, and
yeah, I know the very, very basic, I don't know, the Milo version of it, which is what came into I don't know.
Well, we talked about it a little bit. In as neutral terms as possible. Cam and I kind of went into.
Can you remind me what happened then?
So basically, and Cam knows the story better than I do, but basically there was a whole thing in 2013, 14, when I was in high school. I don't even know if you were in high school yet, but basically, I grew up reading Game Informer. Like, it was a magazine that was basically like, here's all the cool games that are coming out, here's the latest, and they would give reviews. And basically what happened was it came out that Zoe Quinn was sleeping with a bunch of the editors of like one of the big gaming journalism. It was either IGN or Game Informer, one of those. And basically like sleeping with writers who were reviewing her game, which is obviously like a conflict of interest. And, you know, I mean, the game that she was making sounded cool. Like, it
Depression Quest?
Yes.
I know that game. It was made in Twine, and Twine is like very famous for like writers and games. Everyone knows Twine.
Yeah. And basically, like, there was a big pushback because this came out and people were like, look, like, this is a problem when you have the person who's supposed to be reviewing your game is clearly biased, right? And they would like pad the reviews of a lot of games like for similar reasons. And that just started like a whole, you know, people investigating it and whatever. And, you know, the long story short is basically people were like, started messaging retailers like Best Buy and GameStop and stuff and saying like, you know, did you realize that like, you know, this person is like fraud? And there were a few people that like started sending like death threats to
I know that part of the story,
which obviously is not cool, but like that became the main story. And literally it was either IGN or one of those came out with an article that said like literally the title was Gamers Drop Dead. And they were saying like, fuck all of you guys, like you guys are like the worst people in the world. And they're like crapping all over their own audience, which is like, okay, dude, like rather than saying like, clearly we messed up here, like we apologize for having this clear conflict of interest and being dishonest to you guys. No, the problem is you, our consumers, which very much rubbed me the wrong way and a lot of other people. And again, it's like the media chooses to focus on what I would view as the non-essential part of the story, which is that there was this corruption going on in an industry that's bigger than movies now. Like AAA gaming is bigger than movies.
No, it is. I agree with this.
Like, it's an important industry and it should be taken seriously. And I think it's a tragedy that it's not viewed as like a serious art form, because it is. But the fact of the matter is like games journalism is like kind of a meme to even say that, but it should be a thing, right? We have movie reviews and movies are a smaller industry. So
games journalism is not that good right now.
No, it's not.
It's really bad.
Is that how Milo got involved? Because he was like a games journalist?
He was part of the Gamergate. Gamergate was the people that were outraged at like the corruption that was going on.
Okay.
So it's like, you know, I'm trying to frame this in like as neutral a way as possible. Like, I do think that like that is the essential part of the story, and the media just chose to focus on like a few isolated death threats. And Anita Sarkeesian came after all this and basically said, oh, games are systematically sexist. Not just the community, not just like, you know, there's problems with the way that gaming development works. It's video games themselves are inherently sexist, and here's why. And she's talking about like, oh, there's unrealistic standards of beauty for women. And it's like, well, yeah, but there's unrealistic standards of beauty for men too. Is that sexist against men? Like, you know, you have dudes that are jacked and huge. I don't think that's sexist or like unreal. Like it's a game, you know? Like if I wanted to look like a normal person, I'd be myself, but I play video games because I want fantasy, right?
What does she do now, Anita Sarkeesian?
She crowdfunded millions of dollars for this 10-part series, and she only made like 3 parts of it.
Whoa.
I think the reason she only made 3 parts though was like the death threats or something. You could correct me though. I am not master of this situation.
I think like these death threats were investigated by cops, and like it was just a bunch of angry neckbeards on the internet.
Well, to be fair though, death threats is kind of scary no matter what.
It happens to everybody though. Like anybody who's like, do you think PewDiePie doesn't get death threats? Like I
think that the death threats for Anita were more, they were definitely more intense, I feel.
I think that anybody who takes a political stance on anything like, what about Ben Shapiro and like these like, political commentators?
Oh, they definitely get death threats too. I'm not saying that it's just like they definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's problem or that it's not a problem, because like obviously I don't condone it, but like I think that if you're going to put yourself in a public role like that, like realistically that is going to happen. Like regardless of what side you're on, like if you're putting yourself out there in a very political commentator, you're going to get that. In honor of Alex Trebek, what's the last thing you want to hear from your side piece? What?
I don't even know what that means.
Your side piece. Oh, I guess.
Wait, what's the side piece?
Like the chick you have on the side.
Oh.
Lesson of Gamergate: don't attack the games or the culture because they appeal to an audience, because the audience they want to appeal to and the culture people want to belong to.
So what's the last thing that I'd want to hear from my side from you? Like before I die.
Oh gosh, what a horrible question to ask.
Well, it's more of like a thinking about life question.
Doug says, "Oh man, am I late?" That's like the worst thing you could hear. I think that's a good one.
Yeah. Or like, I called 911 and they put me on hold. What did you?
It's not an emergency, right?
Okay, like excluding the Gamergate situation, because I definitely don't want to say I have an opinion on it because I don't know anything. I do feel like women in gaming, like specifically in game development, is like an issue that I feel pretty strongly about.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the stuff that people were talking about in Gamergate was more on the side of like this game, like and the narrative that came as a backlash to Gamergate, because the Gamergate people were just sort of like, okay, like, come on, like this is just a problem with games journalism. And then there were the media people who came back and said, oh, because of a few bad people in this crowd, like your entire narrative and your entire movement is like problematic. And the Gamergate people come back and they're like, no, like screw you guys. And this whole generation of like, activists was like, games themselves are inherently racist, sexist, whatever.
Which is like the dumbest thing you could say.
And I think that it's important to like separate the two. Like obviously, you can look at the game and say playing the game itself, CS:GO, is not inherently a racist or a sexist thing, but like you can obviously say like, look, like the community is a little toxic. But that's not because of the game, it's just because of the people that
No, I agree. Like how I see it is that I don't think that game development has to be 50% women, 50% men, right? Because it's like unrealistic. But how I see it is that like currently how game development is that it's just bad for women. Like women don't want to be in it because it's a difficult field for them. So I think it should at least be like more welcoming towards women so that they can choose it if they want to, and it doesn't feel like it's like by saying that I am a female developer, it feels like a political statement. How I want it to be is that it's just a statement and it doesn't feel like, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to attach the word female to it.
What if we just, actually today when I put that thumbnail and I made that thumbnail and it said like female gamer creates her own games. I thought about it afterwards and I was like, why did I say female? Like that's so dumb. Like
I don't think there's anything wrong with it though. Just because like they're like if we really think about it, like having a young woman say that she really wants to work in gaming is pretty rare.
Yeah, it's unique.
No, versus just some random CS guy being like, hey, I want to make games. Like, the two are very different.
Right. No, that makes sense. I mean, it's an adjective.
But it seems to like reduce it to just, it seems to reduce it to that. So, like,
yeah, it's not an adjective the way, you know, American game developer is.
Mm-hmm.
Where it should be. And I think that's what you're getting at, right? Is that like, you know, it is almost like a borderline statement to say like female game developer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, and I get that. Like, I mean, it's not the same thing, but like I've worked in office environments that are very female dominated, and I think there's a danger of the same thing where it's like there's sort of a weird atmosphere, like if you're a male receptionist working in an office that's filled and dominated by women.
Yeah. I mean, my game development club and I were talking about it, and they were like, next year when you leave, who, like, will there be women officers? Probably not, because it's a big thing for, like, and here's the thing, like UCLA Game Development Club, that is so much smaller in scope than Riot Games or any other huge studio. And even in this like very small and like welcoming space, it's hard for women to be in a leadership position. Like, not because our club is saying like, hey, women shouldn't do it, it's that they don't even want to apply.
Yeah, and I think part of the important thing is to be that person, like, not just to do it, not just because, oh, I want females to do this, but because you're passionate about it also, and saying like, look, I want to, do this regardless of the consequences.
Yeah.
Like, and not being afraid of them.
I think another big problem, like, I'll speak on like behalf of myself, but just know that my situation is mirrored everywhere in game dev, right? So when I first joined my game development club, I met this guy and everyone loved him, right? He was so accepted in the club. Everyone was friends with him. He also worked at a huge gaming studio. He worked at Niantic, which makes Pokemon.
Oh, I heard of them.
Yeah, they make Pokemon Go, exactly, right? But so he was just doing this club for fun, right? But what like no one knew about him was that he was a huge creep. He was like a predator among like the women in the club, but the women in the club were like just too shy to say anything, right? And he was an officer position, he was a lead. And when I joined the club,
cute.
No. When I joined the club, we had a very problematic a problematic relationship. I'll just say that. Okay. Rick knows this story. Where like he was just really bad to me, like very predator-like to me, right? And I was the only person who said something about it, who was like, dude, why is this guy a literal fucking creep in our club? Why is he, sorry, I just cursed. Why is he preying upon the woman of this club? And when I
all my monetization on my channel.
I'm sorry. And when I finally made the statement of like, this guy is not treating the women in our club correctly, all of these women came under me and they're like, hey, I've had a really bad experience with this guy. This guy did this to me. And I think that's why like being a woman in game development feels like such a political statement, because saying anything about how certain men in game development treat you badly is just a huge thing. Because you're saying it to these men who are beloved in the industry. You're saying it to these men who everyone accepts and they think is, the top of their field. It's really problematic in its current state.
Yeah. No, sorry, you go ahead.
So, sorry. I feel like you're like, okay, so the thing is though that, and you brought this up earlier, you said a lot of women are just really nice. And they play into the whole like needing a white knight. Like they play into the whole damsel in distress thing. Like if a guy comes and creeps up on them, they won't be like go
Fuck
away,
off.
creep.
Yeah, like I have a gun.
Don't say the F word.
Sorry.
F off, creep. Like, I'm busy. Bye. They won't do that. They'll just mace
them in the face. Like,
no, that I wish they made some.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they should.
They should,
I think
yeah.
that it's hard because like this guy that was at my club and so many guys who are in game development are at the very top of the food chain, right? They're the one making the creative decision. They're the one leading the team. And so it feels like a battleground if you accuse them.
Right.
And
So
so they try to be polite because they know that they're at the top and we're at the bottom. You know what I mean? So I think it's just really testy.
So it's like you're making that kind of choice.
But I think
Like they're not in charge of you. They don't. I know I sound really. I'm telling this to myself, like as a girl, but that's like what I wish I would have done more. Is like.
Oh, what if I put this?
They're not in charge of you.
No. This
instead
is
of like.
I guess I just needed to wash more starch out or something.
Instead of being like a damsel in distress and being like, oh, like I need people to like help me, like. Take down these people that are corrupt and they're creeps and whatever. It's like, it would help a lot if like more women were like, no, like, and stopped like, and didn't care about like, oh, you're, like what? So you're like the head of this gaming industry or whatever, like, big whoop. I don't care about you. I'm not sleeping with you. Or like, I'm not.
Something you brought up was like women starting their own businesses.
Yeah, like women starting their own businesses are so successful a lot of the time. And I think
like indie dev studios, I feel like it doesn't even have to be all female, but like explicitly like drawing in, because I mean, no doubt there are talented women who would want to work in these positions. Like, is that something that people have tried to do?
Well, Emily said she's going to do that. Sorry.
Wait, sorry, 1 second. So can you repeat the question? My roommate had a question about the ingredients in our food.
Yeah. No, but like Pardes has brought up like the idea of women starting their own businesses. Like, do you think like down the road, like female run indie dev studios could be like a potential way to?
I think so, definitely. That's something that I would love to do one day, start my own indie dev studio. No, I think that's definitely the space that gaming is moving. Like, I think women do a lot better in indie than they do in AAA, but it sucks because AAA is where all the money's at and it's where all the power is.
Well, I think that's shifting. And like, I know Cam has much firmer and more like informed views on this than I do, but conversation we have a lot is that like the percentage of the market that's dominated by these non-multi-billion-dollar companies is growing every year. So like, and with crowdfunding and Kickstarter and all that, like there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, what's the one, Cuphead?
Yeah,
It's
Cuphead.
an indie game, right?
Yeah, Cuphead's big. But
it's huge.
It's huge, but when you compare it to a game, any game that's made by Blizzard, it is the tiniest thing ever.
Yeah, but when you think about how many different ways that the pie is divided up at Blizzard, I feel like if you're the guy who made Cuphead, like you probably get more money than like Todd Howard got from Skyrim.
Oh, no, definitely. Like, there's also a big problem in gaming called not paying people enough. And yeah, no, like I definitely see a lot of women trying to enter the indie space because they're like, I can be my own boss. I mean, that's literally what I'm like. I'm like, I can be my own boss. I can make the games I want to make. I don't have to deal with these nasty ass men because I can just let them go and tell them to leave. And like, for example, like, okay, so I'm currently trying to like make my own games and start my own studio, right? And there was this guy who joined my team and did absolutely nothing. He was like completely useless, right?
Yeah.
And then one time I sensed, I was like, this guy has a crush on me. I just was positive, right? Like he asked to call me once, and then he was like, I think you're really cute, right? And then for a very brief period of time, he started putting in work. So he did absolutely nothing. Then he realized that I was hot, and then started doing a little bit of work. But then when I rejected him, he went back to doing no work. But it's like, dude, I'm the owner of this. I can just kick him out. So I send him a message and I'm just like, you're done. Leave this game, and your game's not going to be on our name at all. And I think that's like such a powerful thing to do, as like, hey, I'm making this, and if you're going to be like a free rider, and if you're only going to pay attention because I'm quote hot, you can leave. I will leave you, you know?
I'm going to sound like a Luddite, but it's not for the reasons that religious people don't do it. But like, I've made it a point to not have business meetings with men anymore, because like for that reason, just because like I never realize if it's like a secret way to try to get a date or whatever. And like, I don't know. I'm not even gonna try like trying to guess or whatever. I'm just gonna be like, okay. Like,
also, like, I will admit, like,
do this thing for me, like, sorry,
go on. You finish.
I mean, and COVID kind of made it very easy because I just haven't had to meet with anybody in person. I had like a great excuse. Sorry. What was that?
Oh yeah, well, what I was just trying to say that like game dev, there's not a lot of girls, and like no offense to the girls in game dev, they're not very cute. I'll just say, you know, the girls in game dev aren't stereotypically cute. When people look at me, they don't think that I make games. Like that is probably the last thing on their mind if they just look at me.
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, then you don't look like a gamer.
Yeah, I mean, once I open my mouth, you know, it's all lost. But I do think that like when people look at me, it's the opposite of what they expect. And like the guy that was the whole like thing I had with the guy that like didn't really contribute to my game was over the summer, and he joined the team, and then I think he realized, he's like, wait, Emily's like actually like not ugly, and then yeah, I just went bad. Kicked him out, happy to do it again.
Doug says, I have never asked anyone to date at work ever, and I can't have a one-on-one meeting with anyone because assholes made it dangerous to do. Yeah, like that's like another that's like another whole issue where like girls will call anything and everything sexual harassment or like a sexual offense. So even if it was like a genuine thing, so that's like perpetuating the problem. Sorry, this is just going back to the old point just because I saw Doug's comment. But like that also perpetuates the whole problem where like men are scared to like, I mean, men can't ask for dates. So that's why a lot of them are like using these like excuses. Like, oh, like I'll work for you or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like and I'm just like, dude, out of all the guys I could date, why would I date the guy who agreed to work on my game, but then did absolutely nothing? Why? I would pick a different man. You know what I mean? And like, I was very polite about it, like letting him go, but like internally, I was a bit fuming. I was like, you are so annoying. But I was decisive. I was like, you're leaving and there's nothing you can do about it.
Good.
Get wrecked.
Based. Okay, so we have just a little bit of time left. First of all, Joe asked a question. Also, he said, what genre of game do you make? But you already answered that. I just don't know.
I work on narrative for any type of game. I don't care what game it is. I just like to work on narrative.
Okay, narrative. And
Doug said you really do need to be a boss to succeed.
Also, the thing that okay, so what did your parents say when you were like, no, I'm not going to become a doctor. I'm going to become a game developer?
Well,
I'm saying because
Asian parents, it's a pretty weird field to state that you want to do. And my parents are very like traditional, like Asian, like immigrated from China, the whole thing. And I'm not going to say that they were so joyous about my decision to be an English major or anything, but I think that like, I mean, I don't know, like I'm also just one of those people that like, I don't care what my parents think. I just like, I do this because I love it. There's a lot of money in games. There's it's a booming field. I love storytelling. I love technology, and so I'm going to do it. And so like it's the same thing with like not a lot of like women who are at the top of their field in game development, because you're like defying what's expected of you. Like I'm definitely defying what's expected of me by pursuing a creative field. And I guess the truth of the matter is I just don't care. I'm gonna do what I want to do because I like doing it, and it's so yes, it's difficult to get into, but I don't think it's an unrealistic field because video games are booming. Like think about how many industries are dying right now because of COVID, and one of the very few industries that's thriving, gaming.
Yeah.
Probably the most,
more,
maybe?
exactly. Yeah, even more, honestly.
Yeah, like it's crazy and it's awesome and good for you for not like. I feel like so many people, like I know my parents are like Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Like they're like, you know, that culture is like that too, and a lot of people just go along with whatever their parents want.
Yes.
Right? Like, but it's like you're not helping anybody by just like. I think at the end of the day, like when you cross, you know, when you cross the finish line, your parents don't care. They won't care, even if they doubt you along the way, which a lot of trad parents do, unfortunately. But like, good for you for doing that, and you seem to already be doing well. Wow.
I'm trying. I don't know if I'm doing well. I'm just trying my best.
You're getting there. It takes a while. You're young.
You know so much more than I do. So I can't even like measure it. I just know that you have a lot of followers on Twitch. Fine, and I know that you have a lot of your followers over here, which is like already great. That's like, so Joe says, are you into retro gaming? And Jesus says, what is your favorite game?
My favorite game of all time is Night in the Woods. It's a 2D side scroller about a girl named May taking time off college and reuniting with her hometown friends in her small town. That's my favorite game of all time. And I don't know too much about retro gaming just because I got more into gaming. Like the first game I fell in love with was The Last of Us, and The Last of Us, obviously not a retro game. So I would say that most of my gaming knowledge is more modern, like definitely 2010 and up is.
She makes me feel old because most of my gaming knowledge is like pre-2010.
You make me feel old because I don't know any gaming knowledge. That's any of those. Yeah. Okay, the last like.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. Before we go, as promised,
we made a promise to our son.
We have to bring our son, and we are very dedicated parents.
We are. So, son, you have 3 seconds to get on. We're basically setting up our son with Emily. Everybody.
Oh my God!
I actually had an idea, and there's so much more I wanted to ask you. I just wanted to like. There's more I want to ask you.
This is so fun. I had a lot of time talking.
So also like this is not even related, but I thought it'd be really cool to have a show like The Bachelor. Except
you've already. There's a stream called Raj Patel, or like he does that, and he has like, you can't do it. He's already done it, and he's like at the top of the field. He gets like the biggest YouTubers on his show. Yeah, it's a thing on Twitch. Like one of the most watched.
Them up live on Blind Dates.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's what I wanted to do. Why did you beat me to it?
He's wildly successful, by the way. Like wildly successful.
Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. I was gonna do it for my viewers. Like I was gonna take all these everybody that I know. I was gonna so right now I'm gonna do it with Henry, but then I was like I was gonna take like everybody and just be like what's up? Get on my live stream.
I was actually on that show once, and it like at the time it had 30,000 concurrent viewers. Now it gets over 100,000 concurrent viewers.
Whoa.
So I was on a dating show. I was on his dating show, in fact.
That's so funny. So who did he set you up with?
It's basically like it was me and a bunch of really famous male streamers, and they all just judge me and they ask me questions.
Oh, so you were the Bachelorette.
Well, like he has different types of shows. He has one where it's The Bachelorette, and he had one called like Queen of the Hill, and it's like 2 girls, 4 guys, and then the 4 guys choose between the 2 girls, whichever one they prefer, and then a new girl is added until the very end.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
But if you do it, I'll come, by the way. Like, think about it. He plagiarized The Bachelor, so, I mean, we can all plagiarize The Bachelor at this point.
Totally. Okay. And one more thing I want to ask you before Henry gets on.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier you mentioned there was so what is the best format you think I can use for my live streams? And I know
Streamlabs. Streamlabs for sure.
OBS.
Best. Streamlabs, OBS, or OBS.
Oh, okay. Streamlabs. Okay. So I used Streamlabs briefly before, but I don't know why I stopped. So maybe I'll continue using Streamlabs. And
every Twitch streamer uses either Streamlabs OBS or OBS. They don't use whatever you're using.
Zoom.
Well, they use Streamlabs OBS to like, and they stream Zoom through Streamlabs, and then the Streamlabs connects to all of their socials like YouTube, Twitch, whatever else they're streaming on. And it's great because, like, let's say like my volume is way too loud, you can turn it down. Let's say you have a picture, like let's say we start talking about a game, you can pull a picture of the game up on the stream so everyone sees. Like, it's great.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I used it briefly, and then I stopped doing it because there was something else I wanted to do, and I wasn't able to do it on that. But all right, but that's good to know, and I think I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna try to figure out how I did it last time. I have COVID. I'm kidding, I don't. But it looks like Henry is sleeping because it's
3:30 in the morning.
3:30 in the morning in the UK where he's from. But you know what? We'll do it on a different live stream. If you're down, we'll do a stream.
Come back. Hang out with us.
I'm down. This is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be really funny. So next live stream with Emily, we will literally set her up on a blind date with her.
Okay, I'm down.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, okay, cool. Yeah, I used to.
I've been on like multiple dating shows now that I think about it.
Yeah, I saw the one.
I have.
It was weird. The one
I was on one this summer too.
Yeah, I think that's the one I'm thinking of. The one the one with the guy who was like really awkward and like he brought you back for like a minute and then he was like clearly like on his phone the whole time.
Oh, no. I think we're thinking of different things. The last dating show I was on, the guy actually really liked me.
Oh, I just remember the one where the guy like invited you back because his audience liked you.
I don't know. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah. I hated him though. No,
I didn't think that it was. Frankly, I thought that you could do better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I guess like to fill everyone in, I went on a virtual date with a famous YouTuber. His name is Awkward Since Birth. He's like pretty famous on YouTube.
I'm gonna look him up.
He was annoying.
Yeah, he was annoying. And he didn't like me, but everyone in his audience loved me. He has 250K. He hasn't posted in a really long time, but yeah.
He's more of a Twitch guy, right?
No, he's Twitch and YouTube.
The one girl I liked a lot.
She's got those dreamy eyes. This girl.
The one,
He's got those dreamy eyes like, hey girl, let me play you a song in this new guitar I got. Except I don't know how to actually play it, so there's a recording playing, and I'm pretending to play it.
Is he Korean?
I think so. He also went to UCLA, but I don't know. I really did not like him.
The one Berkeley girl that you showed
Yes, I loved
her.
her. Me too.
Yeah,
I like her a lot too.
Way
She's too good for him.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I wanted a date with Awkward Since Birth. Like a date, quote, date, I don't know.
It was like a COVID date before.
Yeah, like a COVID date.
That was like pre-COVID date.
Yeah, I remember his audience loved me. I remember. He was the cringiest guy. Yeah.
Yes. What's Wish's name?
Rosen.
Rosen.
Haha, I know Rosen.
Yeah.
Hi, Rosen. What's up? Is Rosen a girl or boy?
Boy.
What's up, Rosen?
Your audience, is it like 80% male?
Rosen,
70%?
why
It's like 100% male. Let's be honest. Rosen, come on. Let's be honest.
I thought you
The
had
only-
like your handful of women.
I think the only women who watch me are other female streamers who I'm friends with.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a few friends, right?
No, really. Like I used to be really active on Twitch, but I distanced myself a lot because I'm trying to spend a lot more of my time on making games. So I'm like semi-active on Twitch. But I used to be friends with a lot of streamers.
Okay.
Okay, so one more thing. Do you think that this background is fine, or should we go for our viewers, especially? Should we go back to like a regular plain white background?
Well, one thing that is really bad is I feel like we keep losing Rick in the background.
Yeah, I don't know why this background flipping dislikes me.
It doesn't like you because you're not important. So
So I
See,
think
look.
the background is bad because we lose Rick way too much.
here, it doesn't lose you now, but if you just go a little bit further.
No, it's when I like go like this. Whenever I was like taking a sip of my water, it would like.
You used to have a feel for Gamer Girl knows me in real life, and Kat knows me in real life and is a streamer friend. So I don't. It's like, do we count them? You know what I mean? Gamer Girl knows me in real life, like. So yeah.
Are you
Okay,
serious?
Rizal is asking. Okay, so one thing I think you guys should improve on with your stream is the fact that right now, when I talk, it's on me, but then when you talk, it's on you. To have us seen at the same time, I feel like would be a huge
I thought
improvement.
that was in settings. I thought
Let's
that
see
we
if
could
that's
change that.
in video settings. Let's see. Video settings and always display participant name on videos. Is that
No, wait.
virtual background?
I can help you guys set this up, if you guys want for your future streams.
Yeah.
That would be lit, fam.
Do you use a Zoom?
No. If I use something called whereby.com. So I use whereby.com, which is like a website where you can have video calls. So I'll call on whereby, but then I'll use Streamlabs OBS to capture my screen, and this so it's capturing whereby. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you can do it correctly on Zoom. I've just never used Zoom before, but I'm
You
positive you can do it on Zoom. I'm sure you could do it on Zoom and it'd be successful. You know what you should do is that you should, okay, so you should have Zoom open just like how it is. And then instead of screen capturing Zoom, the application, you should just capture your screen.
Okay,
And then it'll definitely show us both.
let's see. Play sound, ask participant, enable waiting room. I'm just looking for more allow.
This might be a setting not on Zoom, but on whatever streaming thing you're using.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
that would make sense.
cool. It doesn't do that now, does it?
Let's see.
We could definitely, right now, we can only see one of us at one time.
Oh, even though it's in gallery view, because it's
Yeah,
only,
OBS the Zoom. Yeah, Doug, I think that's your name. Doug, that's the answer.
oh, OBS the Zoom. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Okay.
I used to use Zoom until I took an arrow to the knee. Nice 9-year-old meme. It's still kind of funny.
Wait, they said there you go. Oh, you did it. You did it.
What? How did I
It
do it?
works. It works. Whatever you did, it worked.
What did
You
I
can
do?
now see both of us at the same time.
It was just on the delay, love.
Oh. See,
No,
I'm good.
you're
at
successful.
technology.
That's I think would be a huge improvement to see both of us at the same time.
This is perfection.
Oh, so should I just do this for all my life?
Yes. Yes. You should.
Whoa. Guys, you want to know what I did? Everybody, I went on Zoom. I actually don't know what I did. I went on Zoom and I said, I went into the video part. I went into the video settings. And so like in the bottom left corner, I went to share screen. No, I went to how did I do this? What did I do? Video. I went to video.
I have a lot to say about that bowl.
Is it good or bad?
It's almost good.
Oh, never mind. I didn't go into the video settings. I went into speaker view and I clicked on it and I made it into gallery view. What?
Sorry, my roommate just brought me food.
Those are really nice roommates. And so from now on, this is what we'll do. We'll have like side by side, whatever.
This is how most podcasts do it. Usually they'll show, like at least on Twitch, they'll show both people at the same time.
Ah. Nice. Yeah, like Doug says, right. So before we leave, I just want to show a piece of art.
No.
Come on, don't be shy.
No, you're gonna get demonetized.
Rick made a beautiful picture of me.
We'll show Emily after the stream.
Wait, I want to see it.
We'll show her after the stream.
But everybody wants to see it. That's not nice.
No.
That's not nice.
What about your audience is gonna get offended?
Why would they get offended? They want to be on the joke. And they want to be in on the joke.
Well, you guys will just have to watch for the next episode. He.
By the way, like I'm on my own stream, I'm literally so vulgar. Like I'm so vulgar on my own stream.
Because Twitch doesn't like demonetize you, right?
No. You can curse if you want.
Like
you obviously can't say like overtly sexual things, but
it's only nudity and stuff, right?
Well, you can't say certain things, but like I don't think it's not nearly as strict as YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. It's probably because there's so many more corporate donors and corporate advertisers.
Yeah, boogers.
Alrighty.
So we're going to go and we're gonna watch a movie called What to Expect When You're Expecting.
Which is really funny. You guys should check it out. It's got funny. Chris Rock and like every other famous person.
I told him it was gonna be dumb because I watch movies literally just because of the people who are in them because I don't know about the movies beforehand. I just saw that a bunch of funny people were acting in this movie and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And yeah, it turned out to be funny. Better than the Emma Roberts movie. And anyway, thanks for liking this video, everybody. And
thanks everyone for watching.
They want to know what you're eating.
What am I eating, Lawrence?
Shanty donkey.
I don't know what that is. It's an Asian dish. I've never had it before in my life. Like,
is it good?
Yeah, it's good. I don't even know what it is myself.
Huh. Nice.
It's basically a cold noodle dish made from extracted starch.
Cold noodle dish made from extracted starch.
Nice.
No, guys, I interviewed someone from Queen's Gambit, Diacritical One.
Diacritical. Yeah.
What he said. Yeah.
So Emily's gonna be back.
No, I'm done.
And she's gonna be back on that fun dating live stream that we're gonna do. It's gonna be really fun.
Excited.
Everybody, y'all should watch. Y'all should watch My Country on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, watch My Country on Netflix. What is that?
And more importantly, Mr. Sunshine. It's like those are my favorite K-dramas.
Did we stop? We started watching?
We should. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should continue watching Mr. Sunshine.
It's like the best show I've seen like in a very long time. Yeah. Maybe ever.
We'll start watching it in the mornings after we finish Frankie and Gracie.
It went really well, Rozelle. Someone asked me a question.
All right, boys and girls. Well, we're going to move to the exclusive portion of the conversation. So we'll see y'all later. And
bye.
We love you all, including Emily's people.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Emily, for coming on.
Guys, My social life is dying, so this was the highlight of my week.
Yeah,
And
we'll do it again.
Yeah, and as always, like everyone, just send me suggestions, things that you want us to talk about in this live stream. As you might have noticed, we've like resurrected this live stream. Last year we did this every night, and this year, like last year, I was doing it every night no matter what, and this year it kind of like I wasn't doing it for a while, and then finally we just got back into it. So if there's anything that you want to see more of, like you guys are the OGs because you're the people that like knew how it was beforehand. So let me know. And we'll be back on Monday. We're having Kiara Bickers on Monday. She's a Bitcoin expert, and so I'm excited to ask about Bitcoin from her because I don't know a lot about Bitcoin either. And we're also gonna have Emily back.
Wait, thank you, Theatrical One, for subbing to my Twitch channel. He just spent $5 on my Twitch channel.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
I literally heard the notification in my ear because I have Streamlabs open because I'm wondering, showing Pardes how to use Streamlabs.
So funny.
Yeah, let's just go over that at some point. That would be helpful.
Yeah. I'm excited. Okay, see you all later.